Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Charlene Israel.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. Day 2 of the government shutdown and still no sign of compromise out of Washington. Republicans proposed a plan Tuesday to get parts of the budget funded, but Democrats quickly rejected the measure, once again refusing to negotiate. The newest Republican plan would reopen portions of the government, like national parks, veteran services, and the District of Columbia. But a 2/3 vote was needed to send the bill to the Senate, and House Democrats refused to get on board.
They took hostages by shutting down the government, and now they're releasing one hostage at a time.
Republicans say Democrats and the White House refused to even hear their efforts to negotiate.
As you know, the House has proceeded in 5 different fashions to try and resolve this situation and not to end up here. But at each and every turn, the Senate Democrats refused to even discuss these proposals and instead tabled every one of them.
Republicans are seeking delays on parts of the president's health care reform. They also want to get rid of Congress's exemption to Obamacare. Earlier Tuesday, the Senate rejected a House request to begin a conference committee with members from both chambers to try and resolve the parties' differences. Meanwhile, 800,000 federal workers are at home without pay. President Obama warns a prolonged shutdown could have a bad effect on the economy.
It would throw a wrench into the gears of our economy at a time when those gears have gained some traction.
But Phil Kerpen, president of American Commitment, says investors don't appear to be concerned.
This is certainly not new territory. This is something we've been through many, many times before. And, the stock market basically shrugged it off today, which I think tells you a lot about how investors are viewing this.
Meanwhile, some Republicans are starting to break ranks and calling for legislation to fund the government with no conditions.
I think this shutdown's a bad idea, and I want a clean CR.
Another approaching deadline raises the stakes for lawmakers to end their current standoff. October 17th, the country will run out of money to pay its bills and default unless Congress raises the debt ceiling.
Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich presided over the last government shutdown back in 1996. On CBN's 700 Club program, he said shutdowns aren't uncommon and they're perfectly acceptable under our constitutional system.
We've had 17 shutdowns over recent history, just as part of the legislative presidential negotiating process. Speaker Tip O'Neill actually had 12 shutdowns during his speakership. I had 2 during my speakership. So it's not like this has never been done. But this particular president, President Obama, is the most aloof, I think the most cynical, and the most distant of any president in my lifetime. He speaks with Putin, the head of Russia, but he doesn't speak to the American Speaker of the House. He talks to the Iranian president, but he doesn't talk with the American Speaker of the House. He meets with the Israeli Prime Minister, but he doesn't meet with the American Speaker of the House. I think it's a very strange pattern of trying to somehow pretend that he is above the Constitution, that he is a president who doesn't need the Congress. And of course, that's the exact opposite of how the Founding Fathers designed the United States government. The People's House has to originate all money bills. If the People's House does not send the money to the president, he can't spend it. And this is the core thing which protects us from dictatorship and which forces presidents to recognize the elected representatives of the American people. So it's at the absolute heart of how the constitutional system works.
You can see the full interview with former Speaker Newt Gingrich at our website, cbnnews.com.
It was a bumpy first day for the president's new health care law. Tuesday, uninsured Americans started signing up for health care coverage through the government's online insurance marketplaces. By Tuesday afternoon, some 2.8 million people had visited the healthcare.gov website. But for many, the website has been a technical nightmare. Computer glitches, error messages, and long delays prevented them from enrolling in the healthcare exchanges. In Dallas, only 30 people were able to sign up through the site. Officials predicted there would be problems initially.
I'm sure that everything won't work totally smoothly. I would love to promise that it would. But we have built in redundancies to the IT system. We have backups in place. We have backups to the backups in place.
Meanwhile, people who do not buy health care coverage by March 31st will face fines.
A federal judge is ordering Attorney General Eric Holder to turn over documents concerning Operation Fast and Furious. The Justice Department refused to comply with House subpoenas seeking information about the response to an undercover operation targeting gun trafficking along and across the Mexican border. President Obama backed up the Justice Department by asserting executive privilege over the documents being withheld. The move came only days before the House voted to hold Holder in contempt for not turning over the records. On Monday, a judge rejected Holder's attempt to keep the courts from wading into the documents.
President Obama's diplomatic outreach to Iran could get harder. Congress is moving forward with tougher economic sanctions to deter Iran from developing nuclear weapons. The move comes despite the first contact between the two countries' leaders in more than 30 years. In July, the House adopted legislation that increases existing sanctions. Now, those penalties have already cut Iran's petroleum exports in half. Still, no bill is expected to be finalized before November, and that gives the White House only a few weeks to see whether Iran really has changed its course under President Rouhani.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned the world of Iran's nuclear program in his address to the UN General Assembly on Tuesday. He pledged Israel would never allow Iran to get a nuclear bomb. Chris Mitchell reports.
Netanyahu's pledge included a veiled threat of an Israeli military strike.
Ladies and gentlemen, Israel will never acquiesce to nuclear arms in the hands of a rogue regime that repeatedly promises to wipe us off the map. Against such a threat, Israel will have no choice but to defend itself. I want there to be no confusion on this point. Israel will not allow Iran to get nuclear weapons. If Israel is forced to stand alone, Israel will stand alone.
Iran called the speech inflammatory, but Netanyahu said if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, it would be like 50 North Koreas. He also warned about Iran's charm offensive and smile campaign, launched by its new president, Hassan Rouhani.
Now, I know, Rouhani doesn't sound like Ahmadinejad, but when it comes to Iran's nuclear weapons program, the only difference between them is this. Ahmadinejad was a wolf in wolf's clothing. Rouhani is a wolf in sheep's clothing, a wolf who thinks he can pull the wool over the eyes of the international community.
Netanyahu declared a nuclear Iran represented not only an existential threat to Israel, but also a clear and present danger to the United States and Western powers. He argued sanctions must be kept in place. He also invoked the biblical prophet Amos.
In our time, the biblical prophecies are being realized. As the prophet Amos said, they shall rebuild ruined cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink their wine. They shall till gardens and eat their fruit. And I will plant them upon their soil, never to be uprooted again. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of Israel have come home, never to be uprooted again.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Israel's Holocaust Memorial recognized an Egyptian doctor who risked his life to rescue Jews in World War II. The late Mohammed Helmy hid a young Jewish woman and her relatives. He also provided medical care for the family. The Egyptian physician lived in Berlin and was himself targeted by the Nazi regime. Helmy is the first Arab to receive the prestigious Righteous Among the Nations honor. The Yad Vashem Memorial will display his medal until they find his next of kin.
Pope Francis wants to reform the Catholic Church. He says he wants a missionary church with a modern spirit to give hope to the poor, young, and elderly. Francis has denounced the Vatican-centric perspective of past administrations. The Pope met with 8 cardinals from across the world to begin talks of reform and wants local church leaders involved as well. Pope Francis has often been called unique, earning nicknames like the Cold Call Pope for surprising members of his global congregation with spontaneous, encouraging phone calls.
Still to come, why early retirement might not be the best for your health, the connection between work and Alzheimer's prevention. Coming up next.
Hi, my name is Breda. I'm just your typical 9-year-old. I love singing, dancing, reading, discovering the simple truth. My grandpa says you're never too young or old to learn the value of a dollar. He taught me the true value of this paper dollar. You see this little gold coin? It says $1 on it. But guess what? That was a long time ago. Today, this gold dollar is worth over 100 paper dollars. This paper dollar is now only worth 1 penny compared to America's former money, the gold dollar. My grandpa says the only money worth saving today is real money, gold or silver coins. He's pretty smart. How our paper dollars lost their value, he says. It's all explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. It's easy and fun to read. If you call the number on the screen, I will send you a copy totally free. Next time, I will explain the simple truth about money.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be. But they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Most countries are not prepared to support the growing number of elderly people. That is according to a new study from the United Nations and an elder rights group. By 2050, those older than 60 will outnumber children younger than 15. And the UN says nations aren't ready for that shift. Wealthy countries are the most prepared for the rise in elderly. Sweden being the most, Afghanistan being the least. The UN reports rates America as the 8th most prepared country.
Well, research shows the longer you work, the better your health. Medical reporter Lori Johnson explains why those who put off retirement until age 70 or later are less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease.
Our choices can make a difference about whether we get Alzheimer's or keep it at bay. So says a study of 500,000 people that shows for each additional year a person worked, the risk of getting Alzheimer's was reduced by 3%. The reason is because working is more demanding than retirement, physically, mentally, and socially. Stimulation in all 3 of those areas leads to a healthy brain because they increase the blood flow in the brain and also increase chemicals that protect the brain and slow its deterioration. In addition to those activities, a healthy brain also depends on a good diet, according to a study at the Oregon Health and Science University.
We're interested in things that might have a role in the prevention of Alzheimer's disease, but also looking for things that might be actually causing the disease.
Bowman and his colleagues studied 104 seniors with an average age of 87 and found people who ate trans fats scored lower on thinking and memory tests. Trans fat is in processed foods. It's called hydrogenated oil in the list of ingredients. It's also in fast food, margarine, and vegetable shortening.
Trans fats are, they're kind of all over the place.
On the other hand, seniors who ate diets high in vitamins B, C, D, and E, as well as omega-3 fats, scored higher.
So it's a combination of staying away from the bad and getting the good. If you just do one, you may not get the bonus effect.
Some Alzheimer's patients exhibit tremendous improvement after taking coconut oil. Steve Newport's Alzheimer's was so advanced, this is what happened when he tried to draw a picture of a clock. But then his wife, who's also a doctor, started giving him coconut oil. And 2 weeks later, his clock drawing was much better.
I thought at the time, was it just good luck? Was it a lot of prayer? Was it the coconut oil? And I thought, well, we're going to keep the coconut oil going.
3 weeks later, his clock drawing demonstrated an even healthier brain. Dr. Newport wrote a book about Steve's success with coconut oil and has since heard from readers with similar stories.
Some of these responses have been quite dramatic, and I do have a collection now of almost 220 reports, mostly from caregivers and some from the person themselves, reporting that they saw improvement after they started taking coconut oil.
So there are lots of things you can do to improve your brain health, stimulate your mind with work and puzzles, challenge your body with cardiovascular and strength training, and connect emotionally with others. Also, eat a diet rich in vitamins, omega-3 fats, and coconut oil while avoiding trans fats. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Up next, a man targeted by terrorists makes a daring escape, his incredible story of survival, when we come back.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Kenya's president is vowing to keep its troops in Somalia to help fight the Islamic extremist group al-Shabaab. The al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group claims responsibility for that deadly attack at a Nairobi shopping mall last month. Al-Shabaab says the attack was in retaliation for Kenya sending its troops into neighboring Somalia in 2011. The group warns that there will be more attacks unless Kenya withdrew its troops. Kenya's president says his administration will investigate the security lapses that allowed the attack to take place.
The radical al-Shabaab has terrorized Somalia for years, and most of the time it's Christians who are in their line of fire. Gary Lane brings us this exclusive look at a safe house where converts from Islam are finding refuge.
Somalia's Islamist terror group Al-Shabaab recently joined with Al-Qaeda. It now wants Sharia law and to rid the Muslim country of all Christians. Specific targets are Christian converts from Islam. This Al-Shabaab video swept the internet in September 2008. It shows the brutal beheading of 25-year-old aid worker Mansour Mohammed. He converted to Christianity in 2005. 1 year ago, this Muslim convert to Christianity was awakened in his home by Al-Shabaab soldiers. We agreed to protect his identity and give him a different name, Abdi.
They ransacked my house, searched my bag, and found several pages from a Bible. They had crosses on them.
Abdi was taken away, imprisoned, and tortured.
Tell me what they then did to you and what they said to you.
I was blindfolded, and they put me in a dark, underground cell. They beat me up with a wooden baton. They wanted to know where I got the Bible pages, and if I knew of any others like me. When they finally took the blindfold off, I noticed 3 dead bodies in the room. They placed them there just to frighten me.
His torturers said they were going to kill him. But late one night, Abdi and 2 cellmates made a daring escape.
The guards thought they had locked our cell door, but it wasn't locked. We opened it, ran to the wall, and started climbing. The guards opened fire on us. Bullets killed one of my cellmates, but the other prisoner and I jumped over the wall.
Reunited with his family, Abdi is now living in a safe place. He says he still suffers physical pain from the torture he endured. Spiritually, he feels closer to God.
I was happy to go through all this because now I'm stronger spiritually. People prayed for me to escape. Their prayers are what saved my life.
Somali Christian leaders estimate less than 200 Christians exist in this country of 10 million. Secret believers like this woman, she wants us to call her Fozia, often suffer punishment and humiliation for refusing to conform to Islamic law. Fozia says as a Christian, she could not bring herself to abide by Al-Shabaab's requirement that women wear a burqa. While Fozia dressed modestly, she did not want her face fully covered. Al-Shabaab Sharia police, similar to these on patrol in Banda Aceh, Indonesia, noticed Fozia walking in public without a burqa.
They said the clothing I was wearing was unacceptable. They said I was naked.
Fozia received a public flogging, punishment similar to that inflicted on this Pakistani woman by the Taliban. Fozia received 30 lashes. She inched her way home despite debilitating injuries.
A female neighbor came to my house to wash my wounds. I was bleeding, my flesh was peeling, and it was extremely painful.
Fozia says it's too risky to own a Bible, so she listens to nightly Christian radio broadcasts from neighboring Kenya. Fozia found refuge at the home of a Christian friend in another Somali city. But what happens to other Somali Christians when their lives are threatened for leaving Islam? Some are receiving help from an American mission group. This safe house not only gives former Muslims a place to eat and sleep, it also provides them with spiritual fellowship and discipleship. It's run by mature believers who host no more than 2 people at a time. Eventually, this safe house will help these temporary residents transition to life on their own. Basma was 7 months pregnant when her Muslim husband divorced her. With nowhere to go, she returned to her mother's house, where she delivered her baby. But when Basma's family discovered she had become a Christian, her stepfather kicked her out of the house.
He said I was infecting the entire household, and he threatened to kill me if I didn't leave.
Basma was forced to live on the street with her infant until a VOM worker met her and offered her refuge at the safe house.
I was praying that God would give me a house where I could sleep. This is a very good house, a house of worship, a house of God. He answered my prayers.
Fozia and other Somali Christians are praying for a better life, one free from the oppression of Al-Shabaab and other Islamists.
Pray that we Somali believers will live our lives closer to the kingdom of God. Pray that we will endure the weight of life in this Islamic nation.
Gary Lane, CBN News, Somalia.
We certainly need to be praying for our brothers and sisters in Somalia.
I tell you, you could just the pain watching the video, watching the torture, unbelievable. God bless them. We'll keep them in our prayers indeed. Stay with us. We're coming right back.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music, it's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book is where it shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, starts Friday.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Grace, music is unpredictable.
I know I have what it takes.
The Dove Foundation raves. Grace Unplugged is remarkable and inspiring.
This is not about the music, it's about everything else that goes with it.
Dad, were you watching me?
A moving and meaningful film.
This book is where it shook me. It was like my whole world.
That parents and teens should see together, says Focus on the Family.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna drag her back home?
Yeah, I might. I think maybe you're fighting God. Just stop running.
Grace Unplugged, rated PG, starts Friday.
Finally, it is quite possible that true love knows no age limit.
Indeed, a couple in Washington state certainly discovered that recently. A widow for 17 years, 90-year-old Gladys Sally never thought she would marry again. Well, at least not until Andy Niels gave her a ride to her favorite donut shop. A courtship soon began, but it still came as quite a surprise when their friends, when the 93-year-old Andy got on one knee, hypothetically.
He said, I can't kneel down, I can't get back up.
There was a lot of them after me, I'll have to admit that.
She had her walker, he had his cane, and pretty soon they didn't have either one, they just had each other.
It'll mean that when you wake up at night and you're feeling kind of sad or alone, you can reach over and hold their hand.
Indeed, age did not slow down the groom, and no time after they were pronounced man and wife, he did kiss his blushing bride. The couple shared their favorite dessert to celebrate, and that is an apple fritter. The donut shop, you see?
Wait a minute.
I love that line.
He said he couldn't get down.
He couldn't get down. I love that line. He goes,
get back up.
There were a lot of them after me.
Yeah.
But he chose Gladys.
A 93-year-old player.
I tell you.
Good for them. Well, that's going to do it for now on CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
Make it a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.